But the whole object of the subnet mask is to be able to look at that it is compared to the network address. And they can present you a whole complex way of determining that, of ANDing and ORing is what they'll tell you. Where you can go through, and those of you that have taken some more advanced math somewhere along the way, you learned ANDs and ORs, to go through and figure out what it is. But it really comes down to a simple little condition. Convert your number of your subnet mask to binary. Convert your IP address to binary. Or if it happens to be one that's all 255 and 0, you don't even have to convert it to 0. You can just, to binary, you can just simply convert it. Look at it and see. But convert it to binary, and then everything that lines up in the IP address that lines up with a 1 in the subnet mask, that's the network address portion. Everything in the IP address up here that has a 0 in the subnet mask is the host number. Questions on that? That's putting it real, not trying not to get too deep. It's real easy when you get real deep in this. Okay? Major thing is to be aware of, you can borrow out of the host portion to make subnets within a network. You can break your network into smaller networks. You've got a big network address, and then you're taking parts of the next part to make your subnets. Okay? And so you're borrowing from your host to make those subnets. But as far as network portion and host portion, that shouldn't be real difficult to you. We do it with names. My name's Dwight Watt. What do we know about that? We know the first name's Dwight, last name's Watt. Actually, my first name's not Dwight. It's the middle, but that's beside the point. But the last name's Watt. So since we know we're in a Western culture, we know that Watt tells us that's the family I'm a member of, right? And that everybody in my family probably has the last name Watt. And that anybody else that's in the group around me that's got a last name of Watt is probably kin of mine, right? And that the first name is the individual of me. Similar to on here, the Watt would be the network portion, the Dwight's the host portion. Dwight is which person in that Watt house at home. As you walk into somebody's house and you just yell out their last name, that doesn't get you one person, does it? That should get you everybody. Now, I do know a family or two that doesn't exactly follow the whole thing. But that's how it normally works, right? You call out the first name, you're assuming they all got the same last name since you're in the house with them right there. Okay? And so you call them by the first name. Of course, we all realize that growing up, that if you get called by the whole name and it's by your mom, that you're in deep trouble at that point. Does everybody follow the difference in the network portion and the host portion? What the subnet mask does here? Now, what's been covered in Lesson 2, and what they're covering in the Introduction to Networking part, about subnetting and IP addresses, is very simplified. It's TCP/IP. You can go a whole lot deeper. There's entire books and entire courses taught on TCP/IP. And you can go way deep on this whole stuff. Microsoft on NT4, NCSE, one of the exams, that was an optional exam on it, was an exam just on TCP/IP. You can still find the entire textbooks out there. And actually, there's a new one that I've given. I don't know if I sent it to y'all or sent it last quarter. You sent it to y'all also. I did. But Microsoft has an online book sitting out there covering TCP/IP, or several chapters on it that you go out there and look at. You can see how deep it can go. You do all kinds of things off address. But TCP/IP can do a lot of stuff to it. And that's one of the exams I did pass than getting my MCSE and MCP plus I and NT4. Because when I hit TCP/IP, I said, I can follow a pattern and see what's happening here. Now, for some of you, you're going, this is way more than what I probably want to know, but you've got to know the basics of it to set up a network. Okay? To understand what those addresses are on those machines. Any questions? All right.